Hello, in this video we're going to discuss advice to law enforcement agencies, Imposters Part 2, Clones. So, in order to accomplish this, a blood sample is taken from the original. Often a Wiccan or a witch will approach the person as a doctor or a nurse and extract the blood for simple medical. The DNA is isolated and extracted, then inserted into a fertilized egg. IVF, in vitro fertilization, is how they get the fertilized egg into the womb through an injection. They use banks of women chained to a wall who are all victims. After the birth, the women are killed and are treated hideously underground. The clone is raised hideously, including drown raping each other and torturing each other. They also experience drown rape and hypnosis daily. They have to study the original relentlessly. The original is under Wiccan and witch surveillance, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The UK military intelligence are in fact the paparazzi, and they conduct this on celebrities. They harass and intimidate the original and do prank phone calls. They also sabotage persons of interests. So they isolate the original, they put them through social isolation, and they make their world as small as possible and control everything. Also, when the original wants to do something, like go to a shop and buy something, they'll sabotage that as well. They'll turn up there and remove everything of the item that the original wants, and they think it's funny. The other things that they do is they'll call, like say you're going to take your car to get get serviced or something, they'll make sure that the mechanic increases the charges. That mechanic would wind up working for them and have to sabotage your vehicle. So when the vehicle gets tested, there's always something wrong with it. Even if it's just sitting there and does nothing, it still won't pass a test. Some cases the original is taken to Wellington, well eventually they always are anyway, for a full memory download and hypnosis by drown rape. Also, debriefings are conducted, including extraction of personal information. Cloning is done in Wellington only. Throughout the entire planet, it's only done in Wellington, and it's under the New Zealand SIS building. The original is given a handler and put through symbiosis to be connected to the telepathic hub, and they're punished 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This process takes 4 months. So imagine a celebrity vanishes for 4 months. That's where they'd go, and they'd come up with some sort of excuse of how they went somewhere else and did something, like went to Africa and were helping doing aid to people in refugee camps or something like that. They'll be away for 4 months, and that's what's actually happening to them. In order for them to get them to Wellington, they're put in a black box and just freighted there. And a process that's also hideous, where they're in a breathable burning chemical. The clones are given steroids for accelerated growth. So that's how they get them up to the size of the original. And they age the skin through dunking them in a chemical. It's a cult-like upbringing, violent and hideous. It's pretty terrible. It's worse than anything any movie has ever covered. Worse. They're tested thoroughly about the original. They're never given a second chance. They screw up, they're tortured and killed, or killed in an experiment. If a batch of 100 is lost, because they always do them in batches of 100, then they just start again. They just simply don't care. Witches are their leaders, mentors and teachers. Now, here's the interesting thing about what witches and Wiccans are like underground. Their behaviour and accent is like the woman of Harry Potter, who became the principal at Hogwarts. Her accent, mannerisms, and behaviour is exactly what they're like. And you'll find when you get UK military intelligence, or SIS, Witches and Wiccans, Freemasons Underground, they all get the Cockney accent going, and it looks pathetic. Clones never get to sleep. They're drowned often and locked inside an education box which drown rapes them continuously. It's ridiculous. Brainwashing, the word brainwashing, is in fact drowning and hypnotizing people. And that's how they reinforce the education. When a candidate is ready, the others are killed off in experiments brutally. The DNA of a clone is the same as the original, but retinal scans will be different. So that's the only thing that will show up. The soul is not cloned. It is a new chassis, and that is from God. Souls, just so you know, can be copied in presence of time. So time science, it is possible to copy in presence of time a person's body and soul. As far as heaven's concerned, it is forbidden to copy a soul and body of a person unless it was under extreme emergency situations where important people were lost in a conflict. So that's the policy about clones in heaven. We simply do not. Clones stand out. Now we're talking about the Wicked's clones. They stand out as racist cowards, are anti-transgender, pro-abortion, and hate anything to do with God, Mary, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, and heaven. Clones lie constantly and heckle people often, and they love doing drugs and alcohol. Their lifestyle is one where they do not sleep at all. They have a type of methamphetamine tablet that they take, and it keeps them awake for 24 hours. And that is what they do for their life. So it's a hideous process, and it involves illegal surveillance, constant surveillance. And with the memory download, they have a type of solid state memory drive nowadays where they can put one person's entire memories into. It's quite a large device, and it's either that or on Blu-ray discs and hard drives, which would take up an entire building, multi-story building. So that's about clones and a bit of information about them. I'm the Archangel Daniel, and I'm from heaven.